Hi, guys. It's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. So, we made it to Thursday. Whew, barely. Me and my friend have been going out every Wednesday after work, and I don't know why we pick Wednesday. Stupid, actually. And every every Wednesday, I have like this much time to get my stream together. I got it though. It's not the best, but it'll do. Wow. Yay, Tammy. That's 11 months. That's awesome. I think Fozzie is about to hit a new star, which means I think Tina P already did. Maiko taught me. Maiko is one of the smartest people I know. Just so you know, if you guys don't know it, Maiko is really, really, really smart. He just is. But he taught me a new word today that I love. I love it a lot. Shenanigate. Oh, there we go. Fozzie's got a new star. Can't see it here, but you can see it on your YouTube. We're going to shenanigate today. Today is all about shenanigate. Oh, Kelly is also very, very, very smart. Okay. I think we're going to start with Maricopa today. I really do like this courtroom. So I didn't see it. I'll show you what I saw. I'll show you right now what I saw, what I've seen of this so far. So I don't know if it's good, bad, or not, but this is what I saw. This is just what I saw. So there, I just did this. I just fast forwarded it. They got rid of the water on the floor. Look, it's a carpet. And this guy, not this guy, not this girl. This guy right here looks like an ass. He does. Ready? Watch. See if you see what I see. Oh, it doesn't show him stretching. He does stretch. What an ass. He's in court. Now, in his defense, this is 5 a.m. court, and he was arrested yesterday. So, and I actually don't know what day this is. It was sometime within the last week, but it wasn't yesterday. So, some of these people, their hearings that they set for them may not may have already passed. Just so you know, it wasn't that long ago. Actually, I promised you I wouldn't do trials. I would do regular clips for a while. I am going to. I am. Except, not except, but except I got two trials that I'm that I'm getting right now. But wait, hear me out. Hear me out. The first one, there was a whistleblower at this company and they murdered him. I can't make this up. There was a whistleblower at this company and they murdered him. They didn't fire him, they murdered him. And the wife wants money. I guess she doesn't want money, but she's probably going to get money. A lot of money if they can prove that this company murdered him for this. Hey Niche, oh my gosh, hello. So I'm not going to play this trial anytime soon because I did promise you that I won't play any trials for a bit. But I am still recording it. That means for my streams, sometimes I have to go back in time. Today I had to go back in time. And I also got another trial and I can't remember what it is. I just can't. I'm sorry. I'm trying. I'm struggling. It doesn't matter. Um, because it's good. It's really good. But I won't play that for a while either. I promise. I'm gonna give you guys clips for a while. Unless this murder trial gets any better than what it is. It's okay right now. It's not crazy, crazy. The lawyers are getting crazy, crazy. But the cool part is the reason why I started recording when I promised you guys I wasn't going to get a trial was this is Georgia, which we haven't seen for a couple weeks now. And not only that, thank you, security. I love you, security. Not only is it Georgia, it's Sapp. So Judge Sapp, I'm struggling to tell you if I've ever played him before. I've seen him a lot, but I don't know if I showed you him. And the reason why is he does a lot of it's not criminal. He does the lawyer stuff. He does the torts and the blah 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 blah. So it's kind of boring. So I don't it might be a brand new judge for you, but better than that, it's this brand new courtroom. And the court angle, the camera angle is outstanding. It's right, it looks like it's sort of right in the middle of the courtroom floor. Like it's facing the jury, the witness box, and the judge. I don't know how to describe it, but I saw that court angle and I thought, wow, that's really cool. And it was Georgia. So I started recording a trial, even though I told you I wasn't going to. I can't help myself. I can't. But anyway, I talked long enough. I gotta get Maricopa going. I hope it's good, guys.
Occurred, and your probation officer has placed a hold on you and requested that the judge who issued the arrest warrants set a $500 bond on the probation violation arrest warrant. Your next court date in that matter will be June 6th at 8:30, Superior Court, downtown Phoenix. The Public Defender's Office will represent you, who's already been appointed, all right? Your orders are right over there. Salvatore Rullo, and then it'll be Andrea Gomez. Full name, date of birth?
Salvatore Rullo, March 20th, 1993.
All right, you, sir, have been charged. It's alleged that on May 6th of this year, you committed the offenses of aggravated assault, domestic violence form, impeding breathing by choking, a Class 4 felony, possession of or use of a weapon in the commission of a drug offense, that's a Class 4 felony, possession of dangerous drugs, a Class 4 felony, and these last two are when you possession of a weapon in the commission of a drug offense and possession of dangerous drugs occurred yesterday. The Public Defender's Office appointed to represent you. A $1,500 secured appearance bond is set. In this case, your next court date will be June 5th at 8:30. You're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime or initiate any contact with the victim or witnesses. If an order of protection is issued and you're served with a copy, you must comply with its terms. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, your order's right over there.
We shall not comply. We shall not comply because it's shenanigate.
Andrea Gomez, and then it'll be Maria Rivera. Full name, date of birth, please.
Andrea Gomez, 8977.
All right, ma'am. You were arrested yesterday, charged with 4 counts of a form of shoplifting that are Class 4, or that are felonies. Actually, the offenses occurred on separate days, one on May 14th, one on May 21st, one on May 22nd, and one on May 29th. The security cameras show precisely what occurred, they allege. I appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. A $2,500 secured appearance bond is set. Your next court date, June 5th at 8:30. Conditions of your release include not going back to the locations where this is alleged to have occurred, all right? And your order's right over there.
Ma'am, it's 5-finger discount, not
Maria
4-finger.
Rivera, and then it'll be Katie Thrush. Full name, date of birth, please.
Maria Lisa Rivera, 2/20/76.
All right, a direct complaint has been filed by the county attorney's office against you for drug possession. The charges are possession of narcotic drugs, a class 4 felony, and possession of drug paraphernalia, class 6 felony. These are alleged to have occurred on January 13th of 2023. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance on these charges. And pretrial services made a determination that you're capable of hiring your own attorney financially. If that's not correct, you can apply for appointment of counsel. Your next court date will be June 5th at 8:30 in Superior Court in downtown Phoenix, okay? And your order's right over there.
Thank you.
Katie Thrush, and then it'll be Marco Baez Duran. Full name, date of birth?
Katie Thrush, 1/4/92.
Okay, ma'am, you have been charged by the county attorney's office by direct complaint with possession of drug paraphernalia, class 6 felony, and 2 counts of possession of narcotic drugs, class 4 felony.
I just got the chills just looking at her shirt in that courtroom because everybody else is freezing. Now I'm cold.
Pretrial services says that you, by the way, this is by direct complaint, and this incident is alleged to have occurred in January of 2023. You'll be released on your own recognizance to appear in Superior Court on June 13th at 8:30. Okay. And
You mean I'm being released today?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Marco Duran, and then it'll be Seth Hendricks. Full name, date of birth, please.
Marco Antonio Valles Duran, date of birth, January 3rd, 1984.
Prepare to die.
All right, Mr. Duran, there is an order of protection that's been issued, and you've been served with the order, and it's alleged that you violated the restrictions by appearing where you were refused, where you've been ordered not to appear twice, once on the 27th, 2 days ago, or 3 days ago now, and once on the 29th, a couple of days later. Because of the number of violations, it has now become a felony. If you have so many violations within a 5-year period, I think it is, and you've been charged with it.
That can't be Pennsylvania's law. They're in Arizona. So that if you have so many violations in 1 year, they all become felonies like afterwards. That can't be Pennsylvania's law, and I want it to be, because I've shown you my sister's sheet. So it's like, it'd be like 7 or 8 misdemeanors, 1 felony, and then 7 or 8 misdemeanors and 1 felony. It's over and over and over. It's pages long. Everything she does now should be a felony after she's had so many charges. I wish that was like that in Pennsylvania. Maybe I should talk to my congressman.
It becomes a felony. I appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I'm going to release you on supervised release to appear in Superior Court, downtown Phoenix, on June 13th. This is very important. The conditions of your release include not returning to the scene of the alleged crime or initiating any contact with the victims or witnesses. And you must continue to obey the order of protection. If you get arrested for violating the order of protection one more time, there'll probably be a big bond set and more than you can make, and you'll just spend a lot of...
One more time? No. Do the bond now. He violated. Do it now.
time in jail until your cases are resolved. The way you can avoid that is not violating the order of protection by going to the place
You missed a comma.
where you are legally prohibited from going. You understand?
Yes, I do.
All right, your order's right over there. Yeah, you can pick it up right now.
Okay.
They can be
Seth
different classes:
Hendricks.
first class, second class, third class.
And then after Mr. Hendricks is Ahmad Davis.
Jimi Hendrix, comma. Jimmy, comma, Hendrix.
Yeah, Seth Hendricks. And Davis is next after that. But doesn't make any difference which order you bring him in.
I didn't know if you want to call the House call right now.
Well, I usually do at the end of the docket.
We should create a vigilante group. We should build our own little jails. And we should create a vigilante group. So when the judges that we watch, they make a mistake and they're too lenient, we'll go get them. We're all too lazy, though.
You are Ahmad Davis. Okay, stand right here, please, and give me your full name and date of birth.
Ahmad Davis, 8/13/94.
All right, Mr. Davis. Let me get your case up here. 52. All right, you've been previously charged with threatening and intimidating and damaging property, a misdemeanor. A court date was set on May 13th of this year, and you didn't show up. They issued a warrant for your arrest. This incident is alleged to have occurred in August of 2023. What happened to you? Why didn't you show up?
I actually was experiencing family issues, and my living situation wasn't in good terms, and I didn't have no phone.
What he means was he was committing domestic violence and couldn't make it to court. Sorry, Judge.
So I wasn't able to communicate at the time.
Well, I'm going to release you and on your own recognizance to appear in Superior Court on June 17th at 8:30. You better make sure you show up then, okay?
Yes, sir.
And your other conditions of your release are that you not return to the scene of the alleged crime or have contact with alleged victims or witnesses. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. There's order right over there. Jasmine Wampler.
Wampler? Hold on.
Alan Cardoza.
Wampler. That's a different one. Kathleen Rose Wampler. Maybe I'll need to marry a Wampler just so I can say I'm Mrs. Wampler.
Full name, date of birth, please.
Jasmine Wampler, January 22nd, 1991.
With an R?
The county attorney's office has filed against you the following charges: possession of narcotic drugs, a Class 4 felony; possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6. This is alleged to have occurred
2 years ago, almost.
Let me get on your next case here. Yeah, this is alleged to have occurred on August 30th of 2023. Pretrial Services says that you are capable financially of hiring your own attorney, So one will not be appointed at this time, but at your next court appearance, if that's correct.
Anybody who is in possession of drug paraphernalia is capable of paying for their own attorney because drugs ain't cheap. Or are they? I don't know. Listen, my 21-year-old son, not it was sometime recently. I don't know if it was yesterday or not. He walks up to my room. It was Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. He walks up into my room. It's like 2 a.m., something like that. He's like, Mom, I need $15 in cash. Do you have $15 in cash? And I didn't. I put all my tips in the bank after I got off work. So I'm like, no, I don't have $15 in cash. So I went to my daughter, his sister, and he's like, Tiff, give me $15 in cash. So she did, and it was like 2 a.m. So yes, like sometime in the last couple hours, I said to Tiff, did Anthony come to your room in the middle of the night and borrow $15 in cash? She said no. She said no. He asked for $15 in cash and I gave it to him. He ain't paying me back. He just asked for $15. Why would my son need $15 in cash at 2:00 in the morning? I don't think drugs are that cheap, right? I mean, I don't know him to take drugs that I've seen, and I would see it because I'm sometimes observant. But what would he need $15 in cash for at 2 a.m.? I need to know. I just don't understand it. I mean, he's always eating, so it could have been food from Sheetz. But usually, when he wants food from Sheetz at 2:00 in the morning, he's just knocking on my door. Mom, get me food. Mom, can you get me some food? He doesn't. But now, you have to pay for a credit card to get a pizza. I don't know. I'm not going to ask him because I don't think I want to know the answer. I think I'm better just making things up in my head. Shenanigate. He is the definition of shenanigate. You can't just, like, it's not like it used to be in the 80s where you could just call up a pizza and pay for it at the door. You got to pay them up front now. They're like smart hookers. Pay me now. But anyway, I'll figure it out. If I do, I'll tell you guys what it is. I'll pause the video and tell you what it is.
Incorrect. You can request appointment of counsel. You also were arrested. Let me see, was it? Whoops, let me get that over here. Yesterday on exceeding the posted speed limit by more than 20 miles per hour.
Yes, Your Honor.
That is in the jurisdiction of East Mesa Justice Court. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance in both of these cases. The dates will be different and the courts will be different. East Mesa Justice Court is in Mesa. Your court date there will be June 18th at 9 a.m. and everything I'm telling you will be printed on your orders. And then on the drug charge that the county attorney proceeded by direct complaint, your next court date will be June 13th at 8:30 in Superior Court in downtown Phoenix. Okay, there you go, right over there.
Thank you.
Alan Cardoza, and then, whoops, he's at the, we need to have the court officer.
We have
Learning new words today.
Okay, is this somebody that wasn't in here when they called his name?
He's in here.
Well, who is he?
Alexander Stevenson.
Oh, it's this guy, I think. I think we made it, guys.
Stevenson. We have Stevenson here. I think it was confusion between a house call and not a house call. But we have Stevenson here, Your Honor.
Well, we need to see Mr. Cardoza once the courtroom's cleared.
Yeah.
And is there anybody else in here besides Mr. Cardoza that I haven't seen yet that is in the courtroom.
It's Alexander Stevenson.
All right, and I'm looking for him on my.
Judge, he just told you, Alexander Stevenson.
Well,
Were you
okay,
not listening?
But he's a house call.
No,
Your Honor, I think there's a confusion between us thinking it's a house call and not.
What's that?
Our confusion on it being a house call.
Okay, so he's here right now? All right, Mr. Stevenson, come in.
Yep,
Full name,
there he
date of
is.
birth, please.
Alexander Stevenson, February 20th, 1992.
All right, Mr. Stevenson, you're here on 4 matters.
He's drunk. That's why he's acting like an ass. He's drunk. And they just woke him up.
A direct complaint has been filed against you by the Maricopa County Attorney's Office, alleging that on May 20th of last year, you committed the offenses of possession of dangerous drugs, a Class 4 felony, possession of drug paraphernalia, Class 6. On pretrial services, says you're financially capable of hiring your own counsel, I won't appoint counsel on this matter at this time, but at your next court appearance, if you don't believe that's correct, you can request appointment of counsel. A secured appearance bond in that particular case is set in the amount of $250. Next court date, June 5th at 8:30, downtown Phoenix. Then you've got a case that you were charged with a form of assault causing physical injury, a Class 2 misdemeanor, unlawful imprisonment, in this case a misdemeanor, criminal trespass of a residential structure, a felony, and disorderly conduct by fighting, a misdemeanor. You were to be sentenced in that case on June 28th. You didn't appear, and the judge issued a warrant for your arrest with a $2,500 bond. Your next court date in that matter will be June 5th at 8:30 in Superior Court in downtown Phoenix. Then you've got 2 misdemeanor cases. The first one is out of Peoria Municipal Court. You were charged with disorderly conduct by fighting, and a court date was set on June 10th. You didn't show up. They issued a warrant for your arrest with a $250 cash-only bond. Your next court date will be in Peoria Municipal Court on June 3rd at 9 a.m. And then finally, you've got a case out of Goodyear Municipal Court jurisdiction. I guess that's a new case. That's how you were arrested yesterday, driving on a suspended or revoked license. A $250 bond is set in that case, and your next court date will be in Goodyear Municipal Court on June 4th at 8:30.
He won't show up.
And your orders are right over there. Right over there. He's got them for you.
I don't even know what we just watched there, guys. I wish they would have told us who he falsely imprisoned. I want to know if it's domestic violence or if it's against someone else, because the other charge was a fight. The other charge was drugs. The other charge was driving with license suspended.
Mr. Cardoza, come in. You got to stand behind that lectern and give me your full name, date of birth.
Alan Mark Cardoza, 2579.
All right, Mr. Cardoza, you have been, let me get your case up here.
I'm turning it off if I don't like this, guys.
Charged with 10 counts of sexual.
10 counts of none of our damn business, because we're too happy to listen to that crap. Okay, let's go. Wait, did I not? I thought I forgot to download the clips. Okay, let's go to lawyers. Let's go to lawyers who really don't know the definition of a simple word that explains itself. The word tells you exactly what it is. And the lawyers are arguing over what this one word means. We should just look at a dictionary, but we really don't have to. We just have to read the word out loud really slowly, and it'll tell you what exactly the word means.
Oh, all right. Ready, Your Honor. Good morning. Good morning.
But we are in Jersey, so you know, they can do whatever they want in Jersey.
Everyone, my name is Judge Jorge Coombs. Going on the record today, Friday, the 2nd of May, 2025. The time is 11:16 a.m. This is the matter of State of New Jersey versus Christian Sabando. Complaint warrant 2025-1545-0102. Today's hearing is to consider the state's motion seeking pretrial detention. The matter is being conducted virtually. Counsel, your appearances, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Prosecutor Tiffany D. Grand Mason for the state.
Good morning, Your Honor. Duran Nell on behalf of Mr. Sabando.
Oh, wait. I want that last name. The Grand Mason. I am Mrs. Grand Mason. No, I need something that I can pronounce correctly when I'm drunk.
And Mr. Neal, can we mark this as your client's first appearance? And has he been advised of his rights at today's hearing, including his appellate rights?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Based upon representations of defense counsel, I'll mark that first appearance as complete. Satisfied that the defendant has been advised of his rights, including appellate rights. I've reviewed the following in preparation for this hearing: the underlying complaint warrant that I mentioned a moment ago, the preliminary law enforcement incident report, along with attached affidavit of probable cause. I've also reviewed a public safety assessment with a PSA run date of the 29th of April, 2025, run time of 8:51 a.m. And I've also reviewed the underlying state's motion seeking pretrial detention. Prosecutors, is there anything further that the state intends to rely upon for today's hearing?
No, Your Honor.
And defense counsel, any objection to marking and moving the state's exhibits?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
I'll mark and move the complaint warrant packet, affidavit of probable cause, and preliminary law enforcement incident report collectively as S1. I'll mark and move the public safety assessment.
Did you guys ever see those? They take these pictures of celebrities that we all know exactly who they are easily, and they remove their eyebrows, and then they show you this lineup of pictures with the celebrities with no eyebrows, and you can't figure out who the heck these people are with their eyebrows gone. So, like, I don't know. It's just crazy. I don't know if you've never seen it, but if you've never seen it, go look for it because it's crazy.
That I referenced a moment ago as S2. Defense counsel, are there any exhibits that the defense wishes to have marked and moved for today's hearing?
No, Your Honor.
And does your client challenge probable cause?
Absolutely.
State, if you could please set forth the facts that you wish the court to rely upon when considering probable cause in this case.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. The defendant in this case is charged with one count of second-degree eluding. On April 24th of 2025, approximately 1 p.m. in the afternoon, while on uniform patrol in a marked patrol vehicle, the ACPD officer Johnson, and I'm sorry, I'm just looking at who the affiant is. It's Officer. It's quite a long name, and I'm not sure I'm going to pronounce this correctly, but Zissimopoulos. So Officer Zissimopoulos and Johnson were at a red light at Georgia and Pacific Avenues facing west. The affiant reports that they observed a male who was identified as Christian Sabando on a motorized dirt bike ride past them, not stopping at a red light, riding through it. At that time, the officers attempted to conduct a motor vehicle stop, and the defendant at that time then proceeded to increase his speed. Officers noted that it was a very high rate of speed through the red light at Georgia and Atlantic, continuing past multiple other red traffic signals and going through them. The affiant reports that Sabando, the defendant, is known from previous incidents to not have a valid driver's license, a suspended license, an unregistered motorcycle, and uninsured motorcycle. Sabando was previously issued multiple summonses for those same infractions by multiple officers, including the affiant of this affidavit of probable cause. So the officers reported that on the 24th, at the time when they observed the defendant going through the red lights on Pacific Avenue, they suspended or stopped the pursuit based on safety to the community. They did catch up with the defendant 4 days later. On April 28th, he was observed at a car wash vacuuming out a vehicle, and he was arrested there. It was confirmed there that his driver's license is currently suspended, and I believe his wife came to claim the car that I believe is hers. So those are the facts set forth by the state, Your Honor, in support of probable cause of the eluding charge.
Defense, I'll now hear your challenge.
Yes, Ryan. Your Honor, initially, the offenses don't even amount to second degree. It would be a third degree because it was not a motor vehicle. And in order for it to be a second degree eluding, it would have to be in the motor vehicle. Outside that, ATV, dirt bike, things of that nature is third degree. More importantly, there is no evidence.
All right, let's say the word motorcycle real slow and see if we can figure out what that means. Motorcycle.
That corroborates that my client was an individual operating this dirt bike. They're saying that they don't really give a direct how to identify my client or things of that nature. There is no video from my understanding. There is no direct evidence that my client was the one operating the vehicle. But for argument's sake, it still wouldn't be a second degree. It's a third degree. I pulled up the elements for in order for it to be a second degree. I pulled up the 2C. I did had another matter yesterday, and it was in order for it to be a second degree eluding, it has to be in the motor vehicle, Ryan. Again, so I will argue that outside of that, there is no direct evidence that it was my client who was operating this dirt bike. But even if again it's so, it would be a third degree. Thank you.
So there really is evidence. So the cop was sitting at a red light in an unmarked car. And on his motorcycle, he went by and went through a red light. The cop started chasing him. And he went through red light, red light, red light, red light, red light, speeding up. After a while, the cop said, you know what? Someone's going to get injured. I'm just going to back off. So they did. They stopped chasing him altogether. And then 4 days later, they found him. And then they arrested him. Now, there's pictures of him on his motorcycle through all these red lights. You know, the cams, the street light cams. No, that's not the word. Come on, help me out. What word am I looking for? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I think you understand what I'm saying. So they have multiple pictures of him on a motorcycle running red lights.
State?
Judge, as defense counsel was speaking, I did want to take a look back at the report because there was some discovery provided and some reference made to some photographs, still shots that were taken from surveillance. And I just want to quickly, if the court will indulge me for just a moment, as to what the officers were referring to. The still photographs appear to be the defendant on a motorcycle. And I just want to
I'm just sitting here living my best life. There's no reason. There's no reason for me to lose audio when I'm just trying to live my life right now. None. Zero. It's fine, guys. It's fine.
Informed us that they had video footage of Sabando riding through multiple other lights while eluding us during this incident. Okay, so they may be referring to, those are the photographs that were provided in discovery, that there was surveillance video of him actually on his motorcycle. And Judge, the other thing I would set forth with regard to the eluding count under 29.2, any person while operating a motor vehicle on any street or highway or any vessel as defined pursuant to Section 2. I mean, it's my understanding that a motorcycle in that regard would be defined as a motor vehicle. But if we want to pause to maybe verify that, but I would just set forth that based on how this is charged, that the state's position would be that what he was on is a motor vehicle, or at least defined as one.
It was on the streets, guys. It wasn't like he was riding in a field somewhere. He was driving this down the road. Jay Fire.
Anything further?
No, I was just disagree with a dirt bike being considered an off the road vehicle. Dirt bike would be considered a motor vehicle for the purpose. It would be a off terrain vehicle. Thank you.
Give me a moment.
Coombs, you don't need a moment. We all know what a motorcycle is. It's a motor vehicle. You need a license for it. And they're nailing him for not having a license. That's one of his charges. I color my hair, but I know it's gray. Hi, Terry. Shenanigate in Jersey. He's pondering. New Jersey doesn't ponder. He's pondering. He can't be pondering about motorcycle. He just can't be. I'm sick of these people sometimes.
And I do have a question for the state.
Yes, Your Honor.
State, is the vehicle further described? In other words, is it an internal combustion engine? Is it an electric
I'm just going
bicycle?
I'm going to take a quick look back at the report, Your Honor, as the officers.
No, the officers are not going to say in that report internal combustion engine, because it is, and they all are.
Who authored this report and affidavit do describe it as a motorcycle, but I'm going to just take a look back to make sure. So in the first paragraph of this officer's report, he does state male identified as Christian Sabando on a dirt bike ride past us. So that is the way he describes it in the first paragraph of his report. However, in the rest of the report, it does appear that they refer to it as a motorcycle. I do have photographs of what appears to be the defendant on the vehicle. I have provided those to the defense, but if Your Honor would like to take a look at them, I could see if I can maybe get those emailed over to you, if that helps.
Is that going to help him know if it's an internal combustion motor?
I'm
No.
I'm satisfied at this point. I'm going to refer to the definition in Title 39. Traffic Regulations 39, Section 1.1 defines both a motor vehicle as well as motorized bicycle, as well as motorcycle.
It's not that deep, Judge.
In the definition, motor vehicle includes all vehicles propelled otherwise than by muscular power, excepting such vehicles as run only upon rails or tracks, low-speed electric bicycles, low-speed electric scooters, and motorized bicycles.
No, that's
Anything
not
else
a
from the
motorized
defense?
bicycle.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Probable cause is a relatively low standard. Probable cause of well-grounded suspicion that a crime has been committed and the defendant committed the crime. With respect to issue of probable cause, court having reviewed the preliminary law enforcement report and affidavit of probable cause attached to the complaint warrants, along with having carefully considered the arguments of all counsel, court finds and concludes that the state has established probable cause that this defendant is an eligible defendant and that he committed the charged offense. Specifically, the court finds that there is reason to believe that on or about the 24th of April, 2025, that the defendant committed the second-degree offense of resisting arrest, eluding on a motor vehicle, risking death or injury to any person. That's pursuant to NJS 2C:29-2B. The court finding that the vehicle was described as a motorcycle. Again, therefore not a bicycle or low-speed electric scooter or motorized scooter, but a motorcycle. And I do understand that the term dirt bike is thrown around and used in kind of a generalized fashion, but based upon the state's description, based upon the preliminary law enforcement incident report, it is described by law enforcement as a motorcycle. With that, the court finds that, again, that there's reason to believe that probable cause is found for that charge to issue. I'll now hear from the state on the issue of detention.
Thank you, Your Honor. It's the state's position that the PSA underestimates the danger this defendant poses to the community, the risk of flight, the risk he'll obstruct the process, that the state acknowledges that the PSL does recommend release at PML1, that he scores a 2 on the FTA and 3 for new criminal activity. But it's the state's position that the risk of danger is demonstrated by the current charges in which the defendant operated a motorcycle in a highly reckless manner at high speeds through multiple red lights on Pacific Avenue, an area which the court is familiar bears a great deal of pedestrian.
That's another reason I got this clip. Pacific Avenue. This is all monopoly, guys, because this is Jersey. So she's going to bring in a whole bunch of monopoly roads.
As well as vehicle traffic mid-afternoon. The risk of the danger is also demonstrated by defendant's prior convictions, which include assault in which he threatened to cut his caseworker's throat. That looks to be out of Camden, a conviction for providing obscene material to a minor in which he sent a video of his genitals to a 16-year-old girl. That appears to be out of Camden, as well as a theft of a motor vehicle out of Camden as well. The defendant's danger to others is further confirmed by 6 separate domestic violence restraining orders, which he has already accumulated at the age of 26. Defendant's convictions have led to 2 sentences of incarceration, which have done nothing to deterred the defendant's criminal conduct. The risk of flight and obstruction are demonstrated by the current offense in which the defendant simply ignored police officers in their efforts to conduct a lawful motor vehicle stop. Instead, he chose to flee and put the safety of the community at risk. The risk of flight and obstruction are further enhanced by the defendant's sentencing exposure here, including a presumption of incarceration if he were convicted on this second-degree charge. For all these reasons, the state would request that the court deviate from the recommendation of the PSA and that there are no conditions that can protect the interests of the triad here. Thank you, Your Honor.
Now hear from the defendant.
Do you think she emphasized second degree just to piss off this lawyer? Because this lawyer does not like that it's second degree.
Absolutely, Your Honor. So the independent PSA, which doesn't have any human connection, human emotion involved, indicates that my client should be released. He does not have any current charges. He's not on parole. He's not on probation. He's not on pretrial release. So again, that's I will argue, a substantial hurdle for the state to overcome in reference to that analysis. Now, again, Your Honor indicated that for the purpose of the detention hearing, it's considered a second degree. I still think there will be arguments down the line in reference to a third degree, and the reason why I make that argument, because that's a presumption against that would be a presumption against incarceration. However, even on the second degree, with no non-parole, non-probation, lifelong Atlantic County resident, lifelong Atlantic City resident, has a job, full-time job, primary caretaker for his wife and kids, as Mr. Graham Mason indicated, my client was washing his car 4 days later. So there was no reason or there is no threat to obstruct or abscond in reference to this.
Remember, he's not allowed to drive. He ain't got no driver's license. And that car is not allowed on the road. It's not registered.
This litigation. So when you take a look at the totality in reference to the triad, is there a threat to obstruct? No. They sending out pictures. They say it's my client. It's going to be up for the officers to come in to try to identify him. Whether or not is it a danger to the community, a flight risk, unequivocally not. He's a lifelong Layton County, New Jersey resident, and more importantly, again, he does not have any violent convictions. He does not have any violent current charges, any charges at all. So I do think there are conditions that can ensure the triad. We have no issue with level 2 or level 3 monitoring. But again, I just think that the tipping point more so goes to our end due to the fact of my client's, and I would argue also limited criminal history. Thank you.
He just lied. How are lawyers allowed to just lie like that? He says he has no violent convictions. Well, yeah, he has 6. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
State, anything further?
Nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
And defense counsel, does your client reside in Winslow? Isn't that Camden County?
As of right now, I'm not sure is that address he made, but he's a lifelong. I know him like he's lifelong Atlantic County resident. I knew him for the longest time, lived in Atlantic County. I'm not sure the exact current address right now, Your Honor.
This is the court's ruling on the prosecution's motion seeking pretrial detention. The court has had an opportunity to carefully review the arguments of both the defense counsel and the state. Also had the opportunity to review the exhibits that were marked earlier. In particular, S2, which is the public safety assessment, and from that, the court finds the defendant is currently 26 years old. Counsel represents that he lives locally in South Jersey, that he's employed, that he is a caregiver and provider for a spouse and children. In reviewing the PSA determinations specifically, the court notes that defendant is not presently on any pretrial monitoring, probation, parole. There's no active warrants. PSA has a score of 2 for failure to appear and 3 for new criminal activity, which are towards the lower end of the scale. And the PSA recommends release on level 1, which is monthly reporting. The court evaluates this matter under the triad of failure to appear, safety to a particular victim or the community at large, and obstruction of the criminal justice process. The court, in doing so, will note that at the time of the arrest, the defendant had no pending charges. The defendant has 1 prior disorderly person's conviction for simple assault, and and he has two prior fourth-degree unlawful taking means of conveyance involving a motor vehicle. Defendant has no prior violent convictions. He's never failed to no monitoring of any kind, no probation, no parole, no warrants. I do note that he has 6 prior domestic violence restraining orders. All 6 have been dismissed. The court, in evaluating this map,
Anybody want to guess why they were dismissed? Were they dismissed because they were BS charges, you think? Or were they dismissed because the victim refused to cooperate? Let's see. I wonder which one that is.
under the triad, notes that the current charge is not one that would carry presumption of detention. There's a presumption against detention, even though it is in the second degree. Additionally, none of the charges are NERA or human trafficking, endangering, DV offenses, Graves Act, or any sex offender type offenses. So, in reviewing the PSA and the triad, court gives the recommendations of the PSA considerable weight regarding the triad of risk of failing to appear at a future court proceeding. The court balances the allegations that defendant is a flight risk based upon, again, the allegations in the underlying complaint that he fled from police, with the fact that, again, there's no first degree offense, there's one second degree offense that may create a possible risk of flight, but when balanced with his lifelong residence in South Jersey, and again, community ties and family ties, the court gives prong 1 only moderate weight. Additionally, with regard to prong 2 of the triad, the risk the defendant poses a danger to a particular victim, I do not find any particular victims identified. However, I do find and give substantial weight to prong 2 of the triad because the alleged behavior, along with a prior record, do indicate that the defendant does pose a risk to the community at large. Although there are no current violent offenses, he does have 2 prior indictable convictions. None of them are violent. And again, he has the prior domestic violence history, which has all been dismissed, and I understand that. There's no active restraining orders, no juvenile adjudications. So again, the court does place some substantial weight on prong 2 of the triad. With regard to the third prong of the triad, the risk the defendant will obstruct the criminal justice process going forward, again, he does have a current resisting and eluding charge, but again, the defendant does carry with him the presumption of innocence with regards to that charge. He has no pending violent charges, no pending charges of any kind other than the instant charge. And although there are allegations of being uncooperative and preventing arrest, again, those are allegations. Defendant carries with him the presumption of innocence. However, the court must balance that with the risk that the defendant poses to the community at large, the high rate of speed that's alleged, the weaving in traffic, the alleged ignoring of traffic signals and overhead lights of the police, along with allegedly ignoring red lights, not using a helmet, the motorcycle not being registered, not being insured, defendant not being licensed, and in fact being suspended at the time of the alleged offense. Those are concerns for the court. Therefore, based upon the totality of the circumstances, including a detailed review of the defendant's criminal history, the recommendations of the PSA, and the facts and circumstances of this case, the court finds that the state has not met its burden in showing that no amount of monetary bail, non-monetary bail conditions of pretrial release are accommodated.
Wow, what a roller coaster when we got to the end finally. So remember, this is New Jersey. In New Jersey, they don't normally do bonds or bail. You don't pay to get out of jail in New Jersey. What happens is you are either detained or not detained. And if you are not detained, which it sounds like he is not going to be detained, then you get released, and you get released on a level. So level 1, I think, is the highest, and that's where you are, you go to see the probation officer once a week and you call once a week, I think. And then level 2 is you go to see the probation officer 1 week and then you call the second week, and it steps down from there. So the judge is going to give him a level, unless the only time I've seen cash bail is when they're grandfathered in, like the case they have already has a cash bail set to it before this law passed about the levels and the steps and the no money. So we'll see what level this guy gets.
Nation of monetary bail and conditions would reasonably assure the defendant will appear in court as required, assure the safety of the victims and the community at large, where the defendant will not obstruct the criminal justice process going forward. Therefore, detention is denied and the defendant will be released. However, given the totality of the circumstances and the concerns that the court has for the alleged behavior, along with having considered the defendant's prior criminal history, the defendant will be released on level 2 monitoring, subject to the following conditions. Mr. Sabando, you must appear for all scheduled court proceedings. You must immediately notify pretrial services of any change in your address, telephone number, and contact information. That's particularly important in this case. If you're no longer living in Winslow at the address and perhaps are living in Atlantic County. You shall not commit any offense during the period of release. You shall report to pretrial services telephonically once per month and in person once per month. You are to refrain from possessing any firearms, destructive devices, or other dangerous weapons. You are to refrain from excessive use of alcohol or any use of narcotic drugs or other controlled dangerous substances without a prescription by a licensed medical practitioner. Additionally, you shall maintain your active employment. Additionally, sir, you are to satisfy the other condition is that you are not to operate any motorized vehicle or motorcycle, dirt bike, car, truck, bus, or any other heavy machinery that is operated by an internal combustion engine or an electric motor that requires a licensed vehicle to be licensed or to hold licensure on a public road until you obtain your license back and your period of license suspension has ended. Reasons for departure from pretrial services recommendations are, again, due to other relevant evidence presented to the court. Sir, you must notify the court immediately in writing if you are detained in jail or in prison or otherwise cannot report at a court proceeding. If you fail to appear at a court proceeding and are arrested in another state or jurisdiction, you agree to waive all rights to extradition proceedings under the New Jersey statutes and the demanding state or jurisdiction statutes with regards to extradition law. If you fail to appear or you violate any of the conditions of release, or you obtain a new restraining order, or you commit a new crime, it may result in the following penalties and consequences. A warrant may be issued for your arrest. Your release could be revoked. You could be detained once again. You could be imposed increasingly restrictive conditions, and you can forfeit any monetary bail that may be posted. Your next court hearing is on the 18th of June, 2025, before Judge Waldman. Anything else from the parties on this matter?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
No, I'm good. Thank you, Your Honor.
Take care, Mr. Neal. Have a nice weekend.
Appreciate it.
Prosecutor, have a nice weekend. Sir, you can leave the booth.
So the only level 1s that I see, I'm trying to remember Nakama and everybody. The only level 1s that I ever see are domestic violence. I don't remember seeing a level 1 release for anything other than domestic violence in Jersey. That's just what I see. I don't know. I don't know what this one is. It's called Attorney. Let's just play it. Oh, this is funny.
Thank you. I'd like to enter not guilty plea and waive a reading of the charges at this time.
Thank you, counsel. And sir, I'd like to confirm you are Austin T. Caputo,
Yes, I am.
and are you still at 68 Springdale Ave in Neptune City?
Yes,
Whoops.
I am.
I wonder if he's related because he lives in Jersey. So look, this isn't as far fetched as you think it might be. I wonder if he's related to Teresa Caputo. You think he might be? Because she would have warned him that this was going to happen before it happened, right?
Sir,
Never mind.
the complaint that we're addressing today is number 2025-101 out of Berkeley Township. Not guilty pleas have been entered on all counts. You're being advised your next court date in person there at the Ocean County Courthouse is July 15th. You should get in touch with the PD's office promptly to be ready for that. Do you have any questions regarding any of these items, sir?
Who put not guilty in for me?
Your attorney has entered that not guilty plea for you on this initial proceeding. Why do you ask?
I didn't know I had an attorney. I thought I was getting a public defender.
A public defender is an attorney, sir. Your
Oh,
public
he's doing it
defender,
right now? Oh,
yeah,
thank
he is
you.
here now
Okay.
on Zoom.
I don't understand.
Now,
Okay.
just so you understand, Mr. Caputo, she may not be the same attorney going forward. That's why you want to get in touch with the public defender's office. They'll let you know who the assigned counsel is. It may be her, maybe somebody else. And they'll also
Thank you.
get you ready for that hearing on July 15th.
All right.
Do you have any other questions regarding these matters?
No.
Counsel, anything else for your client, Mr. Caputo?
Nothing further. Thank you.
Very good. All right, sir, you're all set with me.
I didn't know I had an attorney. I thought I had a public defender. Okay, this last one that we're going to see, it's a love story. And like halfway through, I'm going to stop it, tell you why I got it. This is Ohio. Oh, no, this is not Ohio. Did I get the wrong one?
Sir,
Oh, no.
in both of these cases,
Sorry, it's not Ohio. It's Colorado.
is 21 CR, because I think you were was he put on probation basically at the same time on both of these cases?
Correct.
So on both of these cases, do you admit that you violated the terms and conditions of your probation?
I do, Your Honor.
The court will accept the admission and find that it's been made knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily. The court will accept the admission and revoke your probation. The court's in a position to be sentenced. Ms. Quicklock.
Yes, so initially our recommendation was to revoke and terminate with 120 days of jail. However, Ms. Driscoll has told me of a change in circumstances for Mr. Collinsworth, where he's participating in methadone clinic and attempting to get into sober living. As such, I agreed to recommend to revoke and reinstate with 10 days of credit on both cases, noting that the recommendation would increase if he comes back after not participating again. People would ask that the court order him to check in with probation within 48 hours of his release. It appears he may have a holdout of Larimer, so he'd have to make his way back to Adams to check in with probation upon release.
All right, Ms. Driscoll.
We are asking the court to reinstate. As Ms. Kuklock mentioned, staying sober and bettering himself is something that's really important to Mr. Collinsworth right now. He started going to the methadone clinic quite frequently. He's not only doing, medical services through the methadone clinic, he's also been attending counseling sessions and group therapy sessions. He has a community of people there, and he's developed that community of people in order to help him stay sober and to help him stay on the right track. And this methadone clinic is not something that was court ordered. It's something that he decided to put himself into so that he can put himself in a better position moving forward in his life. He also has made me aware that he's intending to check into a sober living facility. There's a sober living facility in Aurora that's couples based. Both him and his wife are trying to get into that currently.
Yep. Never heard that before. I think. If I heard that before, I don't remember hearing that before. So it's a couples it's a couples rehab. So he can take his wife with him to rehab so they can rehab together. That's pretty cool.
I do think it's important
The family that rehabs together stays together.
that it's both him and his wife as a unit that are attempting to better themselves because they're able to rely on each other and they're able to hold each other accountable. And it sounds like Mr. Collinsworth has really been trying to do that. Because of that, I am asking that the court does give Mr. Collinsworth a shot to do probation the right way this time. And as Ms. Kuklock noted, you know, he is well aware that if he ever does come back on another revocation on this case, that any recommended sanction will be higher than what's recommended currently.
Okay.
I also additionally, I'm sorry, he has not picked up any new charges since he was put on probation in this case. Additionally, the probation complaint and the warrant went active back in September. The fact that he hadn't had any police contact whatsoever since then, I think is an important factor as well.
Okay. Mr. Collinsworth, any statement that you wish to make?
No, Your Honor.
Just one second. What I'm going to do is revoke and reinstate. But I'm just saying, I'm just looking to make sure, I don't think you should get the benefit of a lesser sentence on the revoke and reinstate. So I'm just looking at Judge Dinell's order on each one of the cases and filling those in. So it's not going to be anything additional. I mean, it's good.
I strongly disagree with the judge's decision here.
Going to be revoking and reinstating. I'm actually not going to impose a 10-day jail sentence. You've actually done 10 days. I think the point is you're either going to comply with probation or you're going to come back and the court's going to impose just a jail sentence. Do you understand that? And people can recommend 120 days, but the court can give you a year on each one of these cases.
And we won't be recommending 120 days if he comes back.
Okay. And I would just say is that I think you were charged with a felony DUI and it was pled down to, do you understand? So you got a huge advantage here. Okay. So it's time that you start taking advantage of that, okay? And these sentences, since these sentences were running concurrent, even though if you would have caught these, 3 years apart, you would have done 2 years of probation over here, and then you would have done 2 years of probation over there. I'm just going to impose 2 years of probation on both cases running concurrent with each other. So you're only doing 2. So in a way, you're getting a freebie. You see what I'm saying?
John, thank you.
So, it just worked out, the timing, but I'm just wanting to make sure that, and you should understand on both of these cases, there is a 1-year jail sentence suspended upon the successful completion of your probation. Do you understand that?
I did not know that, but I do now. Thank you.
It'll be level 2 alcohol education. It's a level 4+. It's 180 hours on both cases. You don't have to do them, like I said. You're not going to have to do 360 hours. You're going to have to do 180 hours. I'm just trying to figure out, let me.
Do 1. He has 2 DUIs. He's only getting punished for 1. I don't like that. And he gets to go in with his wife, pretending to get sober.
Any additional statement for you, sir?
Your Honor, I just, I've struggled with sobriety my whole life, and finally I've gotten to the point where I have the support of, this methadone clinic, and my wife, like Ms. Driscoll has stated, she's ready to get sober as well, and it's just time, and I appreciate you know, the chance, because like that, I do plan on staying sober and, you know, successfully completing probation this time and doing it the right way, so.
Okay, yeah, get it done. It's going to be a benefit to you because it's clear that this has been a problem for you and it's going to disrupt your life. So you're not going to be able to have healthy relationships. You're not going to be able to have a good employment because these will be disruptive. Your substance abuse will be a disruptor. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor. I do.
All right. So that's what, like I said, I'm just going to order 24 months probation. These are run concurrent with each other, which is at the same time, so a total of 2 years. The level 2 alcohol education, the level 2 alcohol therapy of 180 hours. It's the same on both cases. You don't do an extra hours. It's just just that treatment thing. Judge Janelle had ordered 50 hours of useful public service on each case. I did the same thing. A MAD victim impact panel on 21 CR 159. If you've done any of the items, you should get credit for that, okay? All right, that's what the court wants to do. So that'll be the order sense of the court, okay? Thanks. Thank you, Mr. Collinsworth. Once you get out, there's something about, I'm showing, I don't know. There's a couple,
He has some holds in Larimer.
yeah, there was something out of, I thought, Larimer, and then there's another Fort Collins matter. I mean, Fort Collins is in Larimer, but I don't know if that's a Muni case. But once you get out, Mr. Collinsworth, you need to show up here and report to probation, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Just put upon release from other holds, he needs to report to probation. So at least they know that, so they don't automatically. All right? Thank you, sir. We have these probation orders you need to sign, okay? Did we get done with all the Division 6 FTAs?
I don't think so.
Yeah. The Martinez matter, Nathan Martinez, he's got another case that's already set on, what was it again?
Setting up OJ quick. All right, that's all I got for today. We could, if you wanted to, we could go a tiny bit longer. Let me just look at something really, really, really quick.
Check your immigration status.
Okay.
Mr. Fleming, are you
I think we're
pleading
going to. Wait. So, you know how I said that we haven't seen Georgia for 2 weeks? All right, well, today I got 2. There technically was 3, but the third one was that landlord tenant docket that I mean, I do sometimes, but I don't really enjoy that one. So I just ignored it. This docket goes for 5 hours. Let's just watch a little bit of it. I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's still really early. It's only 6 o'clock. So let's just watch a little bit of it, and hopefully they say July, and then, we can log off and go about our day or go watch OJ.
check your immigration status? Mr. Fleming, are you pleading guilty to 1 count of misdemeanor obstruction because you are in fact guilty?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Highland, see that his plea gets entered.
Since we missed most of this guy, I'm going to bump it to the next guy. Or girl. I didn't mean it like that. There we go.
Guilty at this point, and give me a chance to talk with probation and parole.
All right. Mr. Jenkins, as I've told the others, that's perfectly fine. You have a right to do that. I don't know when the next court date will be. Did you receive your notice in the mail for today?
Yes, sir, I did.
All right, very good. Then you will get another notice for the next court date. I just don't know when that will be, but that will conclude your business for today, Mr. Jenkins. So you're excused for today. Thank you, sir. All right, now that's all the way through the calendar. Is there anybody's name that I did not call who name expected to be called this morning? All right, very good. I guess Mr. Daniels is still working on the other Mr. Fleming, and you need to reshuffle the deck here, Ms. Hyman? Are you ready to
I
proceed?
need to talk to Mr. Roberts.
Anything else I can do at this point? All right, very good. Just let me know when you're ready. Mr. Hyman.
All right, I'm gonna pop it to the next guy. I feel like Judge Fleischer, how I used to just fast forward it to the next guy. I miss the judge.
This is position number 6 on our calendar today, case number 2023R0163-MJ, State versus Mr. M. Abdul Fleming. Is that you, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll note for the record that Mr. Fleming is present and standing at the podium with his attorney, Mr. Daniels. Mr. Daniels, you've got a plea agreement in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. What is the recommendation?
Your Honor, he is going to plead to a reckless driving, and count 2 is going to be no cross with a $1,000 fine. And he's to complete a DUI risk reduction class, and his probation will terminate after 6 months.
That doesn't make sense, guys. Does that make sense to you? He is pleading to reckless driving. He's got a $1,000 fine and something about DUI. So he got a second DUI and it was reduced to a reckless driving. No.
Any other conditions, Mr. Pritchett?
Drug and alcohol conditions of fourth medical waiver, if that was not stated, Your Honor.
All right, any problem with that, Mr. Daniels?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Fleming, it appears that you and Mr. Daniels and the DA's office have reached a joint recommendation or a negotiated plea, as we call it, on your case. I'm going to have some questions for you in just a moment, but so far, has everyone said what you expected them to say?
Yes, sir.
And is this the agreement you made and the guilty plea that you made before you came up here to the podium?
Yes, sir.
Before I can get to the disposition of your case, I have to first go through a process with you where I ask you a series of questions to make sure that you understand all the details of this plea, although it seems pretty straightforward, but that you also understand all of the rights that you'll be giving up if you complete this guilty plea today. If at any point during this process you don't understand my questions or you need some more time to talk to Mr. Daniels, just let me know and I'll give you all the time that you need within reason. You understand?
And
everything so far?
Shanana.
Yes, sir.
All right, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you give here today shall be the truth?
Yes, sir.
You put your hand down, Mr. Fleming. All right, Mr. Fleming, do you understand that you are pleading guilty today to count 1 reduced to reckless driving? Do you understand that, sir?
Yes.
And is that what you agreed to plead guilty to before you came out here to the podium?
Yes.
Before the court can decide or determine whether to accept?
Just to recap, we went to Colorado and he got 2 DUIs for the price of 1. This guy's second DUI isn't even a DUI. No, it's for reckless driving.
All this, the court must first determine that you are making a knowing, intelligent, and voluntary waiver of all of your rights, that you know and understand what you're doing, and that you're doing it of your own free will. So it's vitally important that you speak up if something happens that you don't understand. As we've already discussed, the plea agreement.
Here's what I don't understand. So, all right, if you look at the law books, there are a lot of crimes. There's so many ways that we can break the law. So many. Why, oh, why do we only see DUIs and domestic violence cases every day? Where are all the other crimes? Where's, I don't know, operating a scratch-off ticket machine without a license, or jaywalking, or anything else other than DUIs and domestic violence. And believe it or not, guys, when I go through these court videos to try to find one for us to watch, the end of that Maricopa docket, I see over and over and over and over again every day. Men who can't leave children alone. So it's either, and you know what? I don't care. I'm going to get hate for this comment, and I don't care because I see it every day. Men beating up women. Yes. I'm not saying women do not commit domestic violence. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is every day I have to see men beating up and strangling women over and over and over and over again. And then men playing with children over and over and over again. Where are all the, they TP'd my house? That's a crime. How comes we don't see any of those? We do get some shoplifting, but it's so rare. It's like one shoplifting for every 100 domestic violence cases. I want to see all the other crimes. They have to be somewhere. But it's not just one state or one courtroom. It's all of them. All of them. Yeah, but still what we see is, them going in front of the judge for probable cause. We don't see the trials or anything. So the docket for probable cause should have all these crimes on it. But we just get to see these stupid ones over and over and over again. But I don't know. I just want to disagree about the whole television thing. I mean, you learn when you're watching TV. Even if it's dribble, you do learn stuff. Here we go.
Agreement calls for count one to be reduced to reckless driving. It's still a misdemeanor with a maximum penalty of 12 months incarceration. The court does further advise you that you cannot be forced to enter a guilty plea today. You can maintain your not guilty plea and have a speedy and public jury trial if that's what you wanted, where you would enjoy a presumption of innocence that would remain with you throughout the trial, and the state would have the burden of proving your guilt to the satisfaction of the jury beyond a reasonable doubt. You would have the right to have your lawyer with you at all stages of the trial, where you would have the right to confront, question, and cross-examine all witnesses and persons who accuse you. You would have the right to defend yourself, to bring into court your own witnesses and evidence in your behalf, and at your request, the court would issue subpoenas directed to your witnesses to compel them to come to court. You would have the right to testify yourself if you wanted to, but you could not be forced or compelled to testify nor to incriminate yourself, because you have the right to be present and remain silent. You would also have the right to ask the court to suppress any illegally obtained evidence, and if the jury should find you guilty, you would have the right to appeal that guilty finding to a higher court, and that would include the right to be represented on that appeal by your attorney. Mr. Fleming, do you understand that if you plead guilty today pursuant to this plea agreement, you will be giving up or waiving all of these rights that I've just explained to you for this case? Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Fourth Amendment waiver will be a condition on your probation. Do you agree and understand that as a special condition of probation will be that you shall submit to a search of your person and property at any time of the day or night, with or without your consent or a search warrant, whenever requested to do so by a probation officer or a law enforcement officer, and if anything is taken, it may be used against you as evidence in a further court proceeding. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're represented here today by your attorney, Mr. Gabe Daniels. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you had enough time to talk to Mr. Daniels about your case, do you need any more time to talk to Mr. Daniels about your case? Do you have any objections whatsoever about how Mr. Daniels has handled your case?
No, sir.
Is this your free and voluntary plea? Has anyone threatened you or frightened you to force you to plead guilty?
No.
Other than this plea recommendation, has anyone promised you anything to get you to plead guilty?
Books have bad data in it too. There's stories. There's stories. The books that you read are just stories. And, half of them are just lies anyway. TV's the same way, except you're watching it. Audiobooks, just as good as books. And TV, you learn just from anything you watch, you learn in something. Just us right now. We learn about the justice system. Yeah, it's comedy, and entertainment, but just because sitcoms are, I don't know, not really reality, that doesn't mean that you're not learning anything from them.
Are you under the influence today of any intoxicants like alcohol, drugs, narcotics, or prescription medications?
No, sir.
Is your mind clear today?
Yes, sir.
Do you know where you are and what you are doing?
Yes, sir.
Well, you'd be surprised how many times I get a different answer to that question. Can you read and write, sir?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions? If you are not a United States citizen, a guilty plea will affect your immigration status. Mr. Fleming, are you pleading guilty to count one reduced to reckless driving because you are in fact guilty? And I see the written plea agreement has already been entered. Facts of the case, Mr. Pritchett.
Yes, Your Honor, here in Blakeney County, Sheriff's Office, Sergeant Kyle Jackson with Blakeney SO, responded to an intersection where he'd been dispatched to the intersection of Dennis Cully Road, Steve Arnold Road, reference to a motor vehicle crash. Defendant was a driver of a vehicle that, had a collision with a tree that day. There were signs of intoxication. He was injured. There was some testing. Ultimately, it's been reduced to reckless, so you don't really need all that, but he was a driver of a vehicle, hit a tree.
All right, Mr. Daniels, anything from the defense?
Only judge that, Mr. Fleming is now living in Detroit, Michigan. He's married, he has children, he's working up there full time. So we'd ask that you allow him to at least transfer his probation, or I'm not sure how that would actually work.
Shouldn't be a problem, but if it is, let me know. But pretty normal, pretty standard stuff.
I don't know if Mr. Mayor probation can think about it, but it's been my experience that normally if people have to do phone reporting or something like that, they don't normally transfer misdemeanors through interstate compact, but.
Okay. Well, just let me know if you have any issues with it, but I wouldn't expect any. All right, Mr. Fleming, do you have any other questions about anything that's happened up to this point? Is there anything that you would like to say? You don't have to, but you can if you want to. Very well, the court finds that the plea has been freely and voluntarily entered, that there is a factual basis for the plea, and the court will accept the plea and the recommendation, count one reduced to reckless driving, 12 months on probation, subject to a $1,000 fine, drug and alcohol conditions, Fourth Amendment waiver conditions, and completion of a risk reduction program. You'll need to meet with Ms. Peavy here when she gets back. She'll process you through, Mr. Fleming, but that will conclude this case. Good luck to you, sir.
And will you allow him to terminate after 6 months, Your Honor?
Any objection from the state?
No objection.
All right. well,
Yo, I
terminate
object.
on
I outstandingly object, sir.
For 6 months upon payment of all fines and fees and add-ons and completion of all conditions of probation. Do you understand that, Mr. Fleming? All right, very good. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And that's it. Mr. Daniels, any other business today?
Oh, I don't want to sneeze. I am just sick of these judges today. They're getting on my last nerve. You know, I need more Eric. I need to go watch Eric send people to jail. Because this is ridiculous. DUIs mean nothing anymore, you know? There's just so many of them. I just don't understand why there's so many of them. I'm trying to think the last situation I was in where it might have been a DUI. And it's been a while because I know if I'm going to drink the X amount of drinks, I just go home with a different way. Anyway, I don't know. But we watch these court things all day, every day, but most Americans don't. So they really don't even realize how many DUIs there are. And we're driving on the streets at night. And they're not even all at night. They're during the day too, but it's mostly at night. Like we're taking our lives in our hands every single time we get into that car at night, even if we haven't drank anything. Half the people out there are impaired. Maybe no, I don't know. It is a problem. I wonder how many people die every year from DUI in the United States. Well, let's Google it. Fine. Oh, that's not a lot. I mean, it's a lot, but it's not a lot. So in 2023, 12,429 people died from drunk driving crashes. That seems low. Responsibility.org says 42,000 people died in 2022. So it's going down. What? How can it be going down? Hold on. I'm going to show you what I see. I'm going to show you a bar graph. Not that one. Not that one. That one. Okay. This starts in 1982. And it went up. That checks out. I remember those days. I guess these are when we started passing the laws. That's 91. Going up. And then look, it really drops. And now all of a sudden, in 2021, we are back to the 80s, to the 90s, people. What happened? Why did we go back up? Oh, this is traffic fatalities. This is DUIs. So it's been steadily going down and dipping back up again, though. I don't know why. I wonder, and I don't know, but I'm wondering, the boomers, the boomers are getting older, and they're used to drinking and driving because, you know, they think they can. They did back here, and they were fine. But now they're drinking and driving, and they're very elderly, and they can't see, and they can't react. I wonder if this has anything to do with boomers. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. Just look at it. Why is it going back up? Guys, let's do our part and not be part of this graph. Let's just not. Injured, probably tons and tons. Let's see if it's in here. Drivers involved in fatal crashes. Whoa, that's California. Jeez. And that's all Houston. This bar right here is all Houston. If you guys didn't have Houston, you would probably down by South Dakota somewhere. I need to know where Pennsylvania. Okay, we're responsible-ish. We're only had 338. Oh man. I know of one person who was, you know, murdered by a car. I knew the driver. So he was driving drunk. It was okay. I'm going to try to explain this. I married this man, and this man had a child. Not by his wife, but by another girl. And that girl's boyfriend was driving down the road. It gets really. He was driving down the road drunk through a construction site and killed one of the construction workers and injured two. And then he went to prison for that for a little bit, not a lot, like 3 months. And then he was sentenced to death, not really, because while he was in prison, he got AIDS. So he got punished big time for that. Okay. Percentage change in alcohol impaired driving fatalities from 2021 to 2022. Maine and Delaware went way up. Hawaii up. I'm looking for Texas, you know? I'm looking for Texas. That's crazy. Look at that. Wait, where's Texas? Right there. You're getting a little better, guys. 2.7% you went down. Yeah, but it would have went down for everybody. We all were locked up for the pandemic. Oh no, yeah. But some people rose. People rose to the challenge. I bet New Jersey's on the top here. Hold on, let me look. No, they're not. I'm wrong. Oh yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Oh no. Pennsylvania. Oh, well, I'm at 0. I didn't get any better or any worse. During the pandemic, we all just continued our lives. The job that I work out now, the restaurant, we never shut down during the pandemic. We actually opened in 2020 and never, ever closed our doors. So You know, we get a lot of, don't say that. Oh man, I need to find, fine. We get a lot of people who come in even now who are proud that we stayed open during the pandemic. Proud that we didn't listen to those laws. But we got fined. We just got fined this year from staying open during the pandemic. Is that mean at the top? You sure is. 40%, 40.9%. And these are fatalities. So you guys, shoo. Delaware is second, just 40%. Hawaii is third. Colorado, 21%. We see a lot of Colorado cases here. And Ohio, they're not up here. And Indiana, we see. They're not up here. You know, I'm thinking, because, you know, I was just complaining that all we get are DUIs. We get Texas cases, DUI capital. So, of course, we're going to see a lot of DUIs. Colorado, they're shooting up. So, of course, we're going to see a lot of DUI in Colorado. Indiana, so what we really need, if we don't want to see DUI every single day, is we need Montana. And I just recorded Montana, but it was just a motions hearing for the Supreme Court. So it wasn't, there's nothing I can show you guys. No, we can't talk about food. I am on day 15 now, and I'm doing great. You know, anyway, I used to get Alaska, but you guys hated it because the sound was terrible. And now I can't get Alaska anymore because they don't live stream anymore. So I think terrible audio is better than zero audio. Bring Alaska back. Alaska, get back on live stream, please. I get Massachusetts. No, I get Connecticut. I do not get Massachusetts. I get Idaho. That was Naft from yesterday. He was Idaho, I believe. I do not get Arkansas. I do get Wisconsin. That's Judge Frost. And every day, the first courtroom I look at when it's time, because they're in a different time zone, is Judge Frost. Every day, every single day, even Saturdays and Sundays, I look for Judge Frost. And it's so rare that I find him. That's the golden egg right there, New York. I would just love to get New York. I would love to get New York so much. All right. You know, I'm going to start looking for more. I'm going to look for more. I bet I can find some more live streams from here. I just found Maricopa, even though we do Maricopa, that one, just the other day. And so they're out there. I just have to keep digging. All right. I'm late for OJ. I'm going to start OJ. Thank you so much for coming out, guys. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great, great, great day. And I shall see you all tomorrow. See ya. Maybe, Stacy. Other ones are starting to stream more. So it's like a balance. Now I have to say goodbye again. Darn it. Bye, guys. Have a good day.
Got these lights that goes digital dreams through the screen, her blue eyes gleam. Wicked humor, sharp as a knife. Her stream sparks electric light. Late night when the world sleeps, she's the friend that always keeps. Giggles roll like thunder loud. She stands out in any crowd. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor dark and twisted sharp. In a way, there's no alarm. right.